3,000 years ago, the world shattered under the weight of unchecked magic. The gods are gone, but the echoes still linger in the crystals, in the earth, and in those brave or foolish enough to chase forgotten power. Some say the age of heroes is over, but in due point, it's just the beginning. Chapter 1: Whispers of Morning Mist.
I awoke to the soft rustling of my bedsheets, slowly emerging from the depths of slumber. My senses, still groggy and disoriented, gradually became attuned to the faint murmurs and hushed whispers that drifted through my half-open window. The distant sounds of concern and urgency tugged at my curiosity, coaxing me out of my bed. Rubbing my eyes and shaking off the remnants of sleep, I got up yawning, looking at the windows. My feet stumbled over the floorboards as I hurried towards the window, eager to embrace the cool morning breeze that beckoned me. Opening the window with a gentle push, the morning air floods my room, refreshing my senses and clearing some of the fog in my mind. As I leaned out, my eyes scanned the village square below and saw a chilling scene. A crowd had gathered, their faces etched with deep lines of worry and despair. What now? I muttered under my breath, annoyance creeping into my voice. Amidst the troubled expressions, one figure stood out from the rest: Erlinda Brooke. Erlinda Brooke, a longtime friend of mine, possessed a mane of vibrant blue hair that defied convention. Her locks cascaded in wild waves, shimmering under the sunlight with a mesmerizing hue. "Hey, Lindy, what's going on?" Erlinda snapped her head up, her green eyes searching for the familiar source of the call. A momentary flicker of relief danced across her face as her gaze met mine, only to be swiftly replaced by a somber and troubled expression. Coming nearer to my window, Erlinda leaned in, her eyes shifting upward to meet mine.
Lucas, you're awake.
Erlinda said, her voice carrying concern.
We need to talk. It's Mindy. She's missing.
I wiped my face several times and yawned, getting the last of the sleep. "Oh, that's not good," I said, my voice laden with worry. "Any idea why she disappeared?" Erlinda's shoulders rose and fell in a heavy shrug, her expression uncertainty.
Her father discovered her bed empty this morning. He has scoured every inch of the village, searched high and low, but there's not a trace of her. We must find Mindy. There's a chance she might have wandered into the forest, encountering dangers like poisonous fruits or menacing creatures.
Closing my eyes, I reasoned. She could just be off on one of her little adventures. She's always wandering off, you know. Raising an eyebrow, Erlinda fixed her gaze upon me, her green eyes reflecting the weight of her doubt.
But you know how scary the forest can be.
She countered.
With its lurking monsters and dark mysteries, it's possible they mistook her for one of their own and whisked her away.
Looking downwards to Erlinda, a mixture of disbelief and concern etched on my face, I shook my head vehemently. "Lindy, you always have the wildest theories," I replied, my voice laced with incredulity. "Mindy is a smart girl, and I'm certain something more plausible has happened. By the way, I hope you didn't have any involvement in her disappearance, right?" My eyebrows furrowing in suspicion. Shock rippled across Erlinda's features, swiftly replaced by a complex blend of offense and hurt.
Seriously, Lucas? Do you think I would stoop so low as to kidnap a little girl?
Her voice quivered with a mixture of indignation and hurt.
That's absurd. I'm here to help find her, just like everyone else.
With those words, Erlinda turned away, her eyes fixed on the mass of worried villagers that huddled together, their collective efforts focused on the search for Mindy's safe return. Her voice carried over her shoulder to me.
Mindy's father is gathering volunteers near the village center. We should go there and offer our assistance.
"All right, let's figure out what happened," I conceded. "Let me get dressed first," I replied, my mind already racing with thoughts of the impending search. Erlinda nodded in acknowledgement.
All right, I'll meet you over there,
She said. With a determined stride, she turned around and began walking toward the gathering crowd. By the goddess, I just woke up, I thought as I closed the window, a sigh escaping my lips as I contemplated the energy that the day had already brought, despite the sun barely being up. I ran my fingers through my chestnut hair, the tousled locks resisting my efforts to tame them. I stepped away from the window, leaving behind the comforting embrace of the cool morning air. After stretching a bit, I discarded my bedclothes and reached for my leather attire. My leather clothes, a patchwork of earthy brown and deep red fabric, were more than just functional, but also a cherished reminder of my father. He had passed down both the attire and the iron sword that now rested securely in its sheath at my side. As I fastened the straps with practiced ease, the well-worn fabric embraced me like a familiar hug, while the multitude of pockets eagerly awaited my tools. Glancing at the reflection in the mirror, I saw my father's eyes staring back at me, a constant reminder of his guidance. A sense of responsibility settled on my shoulders, fueled by the values he instilled in me. Slinging my leather satchel over my shoulder, I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the day, and stepped out of my room. As I made my way towards the outside door, I called for my mother to let her know that I am leaving. The tantalizing aroma of breakfast filled the air, a warm symphony of sizzling eggs and savory sausages. In the kitchen, my mother stood, immersed in the rhythmic ballet of breakfast preparation. Her gaze flickered to me, catching the seriousness etched on my face.
Good morning, Lucas.
She called out, a hint of concern lacing her voice. She glanced at the dish she was preparing, a combination of eggs and sausage, before turning her attention back to me.
Did you hear about Mindy?
Yeah, I heard. A slight chuckle escaping my lips. She must have heard us talking. I moved toward the table, grabbing a plate and a fork, the smell making me hungry. My mother furrowed her brows, concern etching lines on her forehead.
What are you doing?
She asked, her tone tinged with worry. She caught sight of me leaving, plate in hand, and gently pleaded,
Sit down and eat, and don't take my plate outside.
It was then that she observed my choice of attire, the sight of the leather clothes and the glint of the sword catching her attention. Her frown deepened, and she voiced her worried.
Are you going to the forest to look for her?
I smiled, taking a bite of my breakfast before responding. After swallowing, I replied, I don't know if I need to, but this is just in case. It's possible that she was playing outside and got hurt or something. My mother shook her head, a mix of worry and admonishment lacing her voice.
Don't say that, goddess above.
She pleaded.
I hope not. The forest can be dangerous, with the monsters in there and the potential of getting lost. While I know you are strong, it's still a dangerous place for you.
I flashed a reassuring smile as I stood by the open door. Okay, I got the message, I said. Unconsciously, I swung the door open wider, allowing the morning light to spill into the house.
Hey, wait! Leave my plate!
My mother exclaimed, her voice filled with a mix of exasperation, catching a glimpse of my departure just as I was about to step out. Sighing, I reluctantly left the plate of half-eaten food on the table and closed the door behind me. I took a deep breath, getting ready for the long day. Outside, the morning had cast its warm glow upon Dew Point in a breathtaking display of golden hues, its warm rays casting elongated shadows that danced with the wind. The Dew Point seemed to come alive, buzzing with a sense of concern that reverberated through the narrow streets. Dew Point is a quaint and picturesque village nestled in the heart of a vast landscape. Situated at the crossroads between a dense forest to the north and a meandering river to the east, the architecture of the village reflects its peaceful nature, with quaint cottages and modest buildings adorned with charming thatched roofs and wooden facades. People hurriedly gathered, their footsteps echoing against the cobblestones, their faces etched with a mix of determination and worry. As I walked through the streets, my footsteps echoed against the cobblestones, harmonizing with the sounds of hurried activity around me. I scanned the crowd and finally spotted Erlinda amidst the sea of concerned faces. Our eyes met, and a mixture of relief and determination washed over her features. Her mesmerizing blue hair, meticulously gathered into a neat ponytail, shimmered in the sunlight, adding a touch of vibrancy to the somber atmosphere. She wore a comfortable yet stylish green blouse, crafted from lightweight fabric that draped gracefully on her figure. The blouse featured ruffled sleeves, delicately adorned with intricate stitching and silver buckles, adding a touch of femininity to her ensemble. Erlinda paired her top with fitted black leather pants that hugged her figure, completing them with knee-high leather boots with sturdy soles. As I approached Erlinda, a warm smile tugged at my lips, mirroring the mischievous glint in my eyes.
Hello.
She greeted me, her voice carrying concern. I returned the greeting. My words, however, held a teasing undertone. Are you sure you didn't do anything to Mindy? I quipped, a twinkle of mischief gleaming in my eyes. Erlinda crossed her arms, furrowed her brows, and let out an exasperated sigh before saying,
Again. With this? No, I had nothing to do with her being missing.
I raised my hands in a gesture of surrender, laughter escaping my lips. Okay, I get it. My smile widening. It's just unlike you to want to help so much, I added, genuine curiosity lacing my voice. Erlinda's expression softened, a mischievous glint in her eyes.
A little girl is missing. Why wouldn't I want to help?
She replied. After looking at her for a moment, I asked, Where is Mr. Thompson?
Over there.
She said, pointing to the crowd of people near the square. I nodded and started moving in that direction, Erlinda falling in step beside me. Together, we made our way toward the crowd, our eyes scanning faces in search of Mindy's father. I spotted Mindy's father, a mix of worry and hope etched on his face,